by the way, it's at the bottom of the keyboard, bottom right of the keyboard, you can't see it. Greater than, and now we're gonna click on the cell J1. So what I have is, if I have a petite mall here, it's your fault. But it's like on and off, on and off.
I'll accept blame for that, and I'll move immediately in with Susan and claim ownership of said plan.
Okay. So anyway, now I have $J5 greater than $J, $1. It's $J, that's fixed. Do I want it fixed?
Yes.
Yes, I always want to use J1. I have to staple J1, $J, $1. I have to do that. Otherwise, it'll walk out of there too, and I don't want it to. So now we have to find a format. So click on the format. Pick something not too bright.
That's better.
Did I highlight just those two people for you? Let me tell you some of the pitfalls. When you're using conditional formatting, do not highlight the header row. Do not highlight the header row. That will screw you up big time. Next thing is, make sure you start with an equal, when you're doing it this way, highlight the whole row, start with an equal sign. Be careful of dollar signs. Dollar sign for the column, but the row goes 5, 6, 7, no dollar sign there. Now, here's the beauty. Change that dollar in J1, change that $1,000, change it to 1,500. Watch what happens. Did it only highlight one person now? So let's talk about the advantages. 1, everybody knows what my condition is. I'm checking for people with, in their case, 1,500 bucks. 2, I can read across the line. And 3, if I change this value, I change who gets highlighted. It's a tremendous advantage over the other ways. Does it work for you? Do you know who's the only signature not on your diploma?
Yours.
Mine. In my opinion, the only one that belongs is mine. Oh, if anyone belongs, it's me. In my opinion. Am I right here?
I believe we talked about, I can totally add that, if that's something you want to do.
Yes.
Okay, I will add space in it. I thought you were just jesting every time, but didn't I try it the one time and you were like,
No,
yeah,
you were fooling with me.
Like,
Right.
it really is Dave. If you want your signature on there, I'm gonna make this happen.
Keep your
Probably.
daughters away from this guy. All right.
It's only because it's you.
All right, so anyway, we got the, so here's what I want to do. We're going to do this again now. Did it work for you? No? All right, so we're going to do it again for something slightly different. I want to do this twice. So let's get rid of it. Click on conditional formatting, and it's click clear all rules. We're going to do it again. But this time, let's do it for something else. We could do it. We could do this for full-time, part-time, male, female, age, anything you like. But let's do rate of pay. So right here right there in I2, put the word rate, and next to it put $10. And make it look like money, please. Okay, we'll do this again, then I'll have you try one on your own. So what we're going to do now is this. We're going to highlight the entire row of anybody who's making less than $10 an hour. So now, actually, then right here, where I have the word rate, my prompt is missing. It's just a prompt. Put the word put less than right in I2, and I'll do that also. Your prompt should be specific. So anybody who's looking at this knows exactly what you're doing. Rate less than $10. now, we have our condition, we have our data, let's highlight it. Now, you have to ask yourself, do you want the gross pay highlighted too? Probably, but you don't have to. Whatever you highlight will be highlighted in the conditional formatting. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. If I only highlighted this column here, and that column there, just those two, anybody got a match, only this column and that column will have conditional formatting. You can do that. I'll show you, but we're not gonna do it. I don't like it, I'm not a fan. But let me show you what I would do. I'll highlight Sally, whatever. I'll highlight this, then I'll hold the control key down, and I'll highlight this. And now when conditional formatting is done, anybody who meets that criteria, their rate of pay would be highlighted and their name and nothing else. I'm not a fan. It still defeats the purpose. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna highlight everything. Just like I did. And now, let's go to the conditional formatting tab. Click on conditional formatting, and click on new rule. It's about 3/4 of the way down. And you should have this screen right here, new formatting rule. And right here, it says, use a formula to determine which cells to format. This is the last one, by the way. Click on it. All functions begin the same way with an equal sign. So right here, put an equal sign. And now click on the first person, who happens to be Sally. You click on Sally's first. So now, I'm checking her. I want to stay in column I, but I want to go I5, I6, I7, I8, I9. So what that means is I have to take the dollar sign out of the front of the 5. It would be dollar sign I5. So it's easy just to back it out. So dollar sign I5. I don't like this font, by the way. This is a sans serif font, which means it really looks like dollar sign 15. Doesn't it? Actually. All right, so dollar sign I5. And now less than. It's next to the greater than symbol on the bottom right side of your keyboard. I think it's a shift to get there too. And now click on the rate of pay, which is J2. So you have dollar sign I5, you want to stay in column I, you want to go I5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and you want to use that value J, whatever, J2, only that one, staple that down, and now click on formatting. Pick any color you like. And there we have it. Did it work? Only one person was highlighted. Yes? It worked?
Yes.
Now, again, what's the beauty of this? Well, I know I've got conditional formatting. I know what my criteria is. It's this. I know I can read across the line and see everything about this person, Ricky, his date of birth, etc., things like this. And then I also, if I change that from 10 to, let's say, change the 10 to 20 and see what happens. One more person lights up, I think. Did it work?
Yes.
Okay, now here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to conditional formatting, and we're gonna clear all rules. I want you to highlight the entire row. Well, first of all, here's what I want you to do. In cell I3, put the word full-time / part-time, PT / FT / PT, and over here in J, put part-time. Highlight the whole row of anybody who's part-time. I'll give you about 5 minutes. You can help each other. Take your time, it's not a race.
get yours the same way we just did that last one. See, I had put in there part-time at first, so it didn't work out. I changed it to PT. Attachment was part-time at first, so I changed it to PT for a day.
Anybody get it to work? How many got this to work? Anybody? Nobody? I'll give you another couple minutes. Or you're done as you're gonna get. We all, the ones that didn't get it yet, you're done as you're gonna get? Let's take a look at it. So again, I wanna highlight everything, and I will. I'll highlight the whole thing. I'll go to conditional formatting. I'll select the rule. I'll select Moses format and determine what's like it is. Sorry. Highlight the cells. Conditional formatting, new rule, use a formula to determine. That's an important one. And now I start with an equal sign. Now remember, my conditional formatting, I start with the first person, who happens to be right here. So I click on that. You could type it in if you wanted to. After you type the equal sign, you could type in if you wanted J5, $J5 if you wanted to. Or click on it and take the dollar sign out. See, any way you want to do it. I think it depends on how skilled a typist you are. So I'll click on this right here. I'll take out the dollar, the dollar sign G5 equal to the value in cell J3. Dollar sign G5 equal to the value in J3, that's full-time, part-time. Give it a, everybody, so far everybody good? You understand what I've done? Okay, and now pick a format. Again, some pastels are better, something not too dark. And there we go, those are my part-time people. I got a question for you. Is this case sensitive?
No.
Well, you think it's not. We're gonna find out. I'm gonna change this, you're right. I'm gonna change this to lowercase pt, and let's see what happens. I'm gonna change this to lowercase pt and see if they stay highlighted.
You're right, though.
Just kidding.
I think he was
There we go.
asking.
Here's a question, begs a question. What happens if I type in a space pt? I type in a space pt, it doesn't work. Let me try this one now. PT space. Doesn't work. Remember, so now I'm putting PT, just PT. So that's back to that lesson we learned in the first day of class. Letter A does not equal A in the space bar. Generally speaking, the letter A does not equal, sometimes it does, but generally speaking, in Excel, A does not equal A in the space bar. And probably one of the first classes in the next semester, how many are going with me to the next one? Anybody, everybody pretty much okay? I'm gonna show you a function that's kind of slick, because I know some of you, how many of you use Excel every day? Okay, how many know about the trim verb? T-R-I-M. Okay, goody, you're gonna need it. We'll do that probably the first class then, because it's gonna, I'll tell you what it does for you. We won't do it today, but I'll tell you what it does. When you receive a data file with lots of people, for example, lots of names, it's not uncommon for there to be spaces in there that you don't want. In other words, space David, space, Marino. You don't want that space before my name. You don't want those space, only one space between my two names. The equal trim will get rid of those. If you got 50,000 people, all 50,000 at the same time. Otherwise, you're going through there by yourself looking for spaces, which is difficult. They're very difficult to find. So we'll do, remind me to do the equal trim. It's really slick. You know, it's funny how things work. I teach Word too. I don't like it. I don't like to teach Word. I'm a math kind of person. Teaching Word is like, I find it boring. I don't like it. But there are things I teach things in a different order than I used to, because I realized that things I taught, let's say in November, the kids needed when they were doing their papers in September. So I showed them how to do things like insert citations, parenthetical citations, the easy way. How to do a table of contents, the easy way. Things like that. All right. So I changed the order. So now I have this data file, and you say, that's really slick. And now you send this to me with conditional formatting, say, it makes a lot of sense to me. But then I look at this data file. Now this is from a common sense point of view. Are you happy with this? I'm not. There's something about this data file that I don't like. It's a big deal, actually. What is it? If I gave you a list like this, I have 500 employees. Where's the read people? Okay, so there's 50 people that read, 50, 70, whatever.
Yeah.
So you got 75 people that read. And you send a list of all the employees to, maybe it's gonna be, do you guys still get Christmas bonuses? They do that anymore?
Yes.
Okay, but they call it holiday bonus now? Yeah, we you know, that galls me. But anyway, so now you're gonna get a holiday bonus or whatever, end of your bonus. This should be in some order, shouldn't it? What should the order be? Oh, come on. Alphabetical order, right? Do you ever do anything in random order? Listen to this. You're going by a car, let's say you decide to buy a car. And now you're going by car lots. And you go by Dave's Discount Auto. And I've got cars like this. I've got dirty cars. I've got cars sitting up on blocks. I've got cars all different ways. Are you gonna stop? Nope. Because we are repulsed by disorder and filth. All the cars have to be cleaned, and all the cars are lined up just like this. Or they're lined up like this, or they're in some pattern that we find appealing. That's our nature. That is against our nature. Things are out of order. It makes it tough to find people. Besides the fact that it's out of order, it makes it tough to find people. If you have 50 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, how are you going to find Katie if they're in any order? You can't. You got to go through all 5,000 people, look for Katie. That's terrible. But if you have them in alphabetical order, it's easy. So let's do that. Now, when you sort things in alphabetical order, you have to ask yourself, do I want everything to go with them? In other words, when I sort this in alphabetical order, my brother Ricky will no longer be the last person. It should be Susan. And so when that happens, but I want all of this to go with my brother, all his stuff right here to go with him. I use people friends of mine, by the way, if you notice. I've always picked Sally, and I don't know, but everybody else I'm related to, one way or another. So now, I want the data to go with them. So how do I make sure that happens? Well, if you have no blanks, no blank rows or columns, all you have to do is highlight this. And it will say, hey, when you go to sort them, it will say, you know, you've got data outside of what you highlighted. Do you want to take that with you? The answer is yes. That's default, by the way. But the easy way is just highlight the whole thing, and then you don't have to worry about that. And so let's do that. When a sort, you have to sort the header row. Remember, some functions, the header row are included, some they are not. Sorting, they are included. All my data, Control Shift, right arrow, Control, well, for some reason I lost this. So, you can do this, left click and highlight, you can do that. That works nicely. Or you can do this. Control Shift right arrow, Control Shift down arrow. They both work. That one's better. The last one's better when you have massive amounts of data. Control Shift right arrow, Control Shift down arrow. It stops though when you have a blank row, then you have issues. But there's ways around that too, and I'll show you that before the 6 weeks are up. So now everybody's highlighted. The sort verb is everywhere. One place it is right here, it says sort and filter. Click this button. Do the sort this way. Use the custom sort because you need to get used to using it because there are times when you have to sort twice. So you might as well do it the right way. So right here is a filter. Filters are, the sorting's all over the joint, by the way. I'll click right here where it says filter, sort and filter, click the button. Now, it says sort A to Z, Z to A. Huh. I know. Why can't they make one that's idiot proof? Oh, there we go, I got it, finally got it. So, I'm gonna pick this one, custom sort. Pick this one, get used to using this one. It's more powerful, and there are times when you have to use it. So you might as well just use it. I'm gonna show you another function later today called the equal count if s. The same kind of thing. It does everything the count if does, but more. So most IT professionals don't even use count if, they use count if s because it does everything count does, but more. So now, click on custom sort. And it says, let's talk about this. It says sort by what? Now, because you highlighted the column headings, because you did that, click, didn't I highlight the column headings?
No.
But it's already got.
Yeah, otherwise it would say that. Yes, I did.
Yes.
Yes, but you had, my
Okay.
data has headers already clicked.
So now, custom sort, I'll click the button, I'll select name. I thought name came up automatically, it does not. So I click the button right here, and and it had the name. If it says column 1, column 2, then you screwed up. All right, so I click the button, I select the name, because I want them in alphabetical order by name. And now, we'll talk about these when we end up with, when we have to use them. Click OK. And now they're in alphabetical order, and everything went with them. In other words, Julie's rate of pay, Julie's full-time, part-time status, everything went with her. Conditional formatting went with her, just as you would expect. Now you think about this, what Excel does. Wouldn't you like to meet the people who worked on this, who created this? I mean, you think about this is unbelievable. Well, if this is Microsoft people. They go all over the country getting the smartest people. They go to Stanford, MIT, University of Chicago. That's where they're getting their employees from. And smart people. Anyway, so if you have a son or daughter that gets offered a job at Microsoft, tell her to take it. If nothing else, if they don't like it, once they leave, everybody will offer them a job. All right, did it make sense to you? All right, good, let's go to another sheet. Go to sheet 4, please.